Good morning, everyone. Appreciate your time and thanks for joining us today. And if you have to be here, want to be here, you just don't have anything else to do, doesn't matter. We're happy to have you here with us. Anything comes up through the presentation today, go ahead and just hit the chat. Send that in. We'll try to address the question and get back to you with more information as we can. So today, to go. If you were doing a to-go business prior, or you weren't doing it, or you had to do one, I think going into the next few months, we actually need to reevaluate and see what we can do or what we could do with a lot of the to-go options out there. Today, I don't have a sales agenda. I'm not going to sell you this type of packaging or a different type of packaging. We're just going to talk about some options and some things that might work good. If you come away with just some ideas or suggestions, or you can take something and improve it and make it better, that's really our goal today. So we're going to go ahead and start out with some things. And first thing I wanted to talk about is, what about beverages? When you think about beverages, we love our fountain pop. It's inexpensive, it's affordable, it's pretty easy to maintain. But going forward, are we going to want to have somebody else handling that container, putting ice in it? We're going to be messing with the straw. If you're going to do a to-go item, I think you might want to look at some individually packaged, ready to service, self-service items. They'll transport a lot easier, whether it's something that you buy from our inventory or your 2-liter pot from the pot vendors. I think it's time to look at that whole beverage category and see what's going to travel the best, what's going to be the easiest, and what's going to work the best for the customer. And the customer is the main thing. We want to make sure that they're going to be able to come back and then have a good dining experience and look forward to your establishment and going forward. The other thing I think about too is we all love our condiments and straws and silverware. Anybody ever look in the refrigerator at home? How many condiments do you have in your refrigerator currently? Do you have a silverware? Do you have a straw? Do you need a straw? Some of those things you might want to think about, do we have to do those things, or just because everybody's always done it, we have to do it again? And I think one of the things that we need to really refocus and think about to-go product is a lot of things people say is, oh, it's too expensive. Well, when you look at a typical container from 12 cents to 40 cents and a bag, and it's really not as expensive as we truly think it is. I think we need to manage it. We need to be conscientious of it. But when we think about time, labor, running a dish machine, all those things come with an added cost also. So I think it's a way that we can have a trade out and actually look at to-go and actually maybe doing a better job of it, better packaging. I think customers are aware of it. We've all took a styrofoam container home, and you look at it, and you're looking at your recycle bin, you're looking at your trash bin. Where does it go? Well, you shove it in one, and then you slam the door quick, and you're on. Where should have that went? So I think there's some education things that we can actually do as we look at some of this packaging we're talking about. Would it be such a bad idea if you actually took a package and actually displayed it by your hostess station, or put it on your table when we actually get back to operation, so they are aware of what you're using? And maybe they'll actually suggest them, say, hey, why don't we get one of those to go, because that container's right on the table, and the customers will start thinking about that. So one of the things that we talk about, good and bad, and what I did here is I actually did 4 examples, and we fried those about 40 minutes ago, and I just want to look at a couple options here and see some things that you might want to think about. Not too bad. That's a breaded product, held up really well. Better than I anticipated. So with the right container, some ventilation, the actual breaded product held up very well. How about a battered product? Side by side. I think day in and day out, I think both are okay, but I think a battered product is going to hold up a little bit better for you and still keep the heat to it as well. One of the things when you use these foam containers, if you take your product right out of the fryer while it's extremely hot, you drip oil into it, you're going to melt those containers. So we want the product to stay as hot as we can, as long as we can, but if you've got a container with a hole in it, it's not going to help make that trip very well. So these are just a couple cheese nuggets. French fries. We all know and love them. On the fry on the left, basically a 5/16 skin-on fry, uncoated. The fry on the right is actually the lamb-less and scoopables, credibles. It actually has a batter coating on it. So when we think about fries, I mean, pretty limp, still has some crust to it too. I mean, this actually has a little bit of give to it. But I think we've all been aware of the fries and different things. But anytime you can put an invisible clear coat on a fry, will help make that travel a lot better for you. So once again, those are actually been held up for about 40 minutes. So appetizers. Appetizers to go, what do you do for appetizers to go? We can fry everything, but once again, is it going to make that trip? How long is it going to be able to be held up? A couple things to think about is these little containers, 4-ounce containers. I actually made up a dried beef dip, and if you look at it, it's a 4-ounce container. It actually you can actually portion these out so they exactly weigh 4 ounces. So cream cheese, some dried beef, a little cheese, a little red onion. If you want to do a little bit upper scale, we can also do a smoked salmon spread. Cream cheese, capers, red onions, similar operation, but you've got different items. But this is a way you can actually cross-utilize some products as well. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. If you want to do the crackers, you can actually do the crackers in a container, or if you want to do an individual cracker, however you want to handle that. But once again, this is something that would travel very well and make the trip, and it's a way to get an appetizer and an additional sale into the customer when they're actually looking at that to-go business. This could be something you pre-sell. This could also be something that you do an impulse buy on the phone. And let's talk about when the customer calls in for an order. And we talk about key personnel and key people in the restaurant right now. That person that's taking that order, I think, is probably one of the most key persons that you could have on your staff. And just about, when sometimes customers, back to the condiments, when you're taking that order and say, we can add, do you have enough condiments at home, or would you like condiments? I mean, chances are, I don't like to open up little packages and I bring them home and I throw them away. But we've all got salt, pepper, ketchup, mustard. We've got condiments, and you might just say, hey, do you need condiments or not? Make that conversation, do it into a selling point. Make them feel good about not wasting product right now. And just because we've always thrown 10 salt packets and 10 ketchup packets in the bag, maybe we need to relook at that. And I think that person on the phone could actually do a nice job funneling those calls and doing it into a positive versus a negative. A couple other things when we'll talk about appetizers and having things in prepackaged product. We've actually got some original beef sticks from B&R. We've got some pre-sliced summer sausage from Clement's. We also have a cheddar beef stick from B&R also. These actually could be just put in a package. They're UPC. They're ready to go, and you could actually sell them right out of the air, just kind of like a retail thing. And that would be a nice way to actually put those. If you want to go a little bit further, and you want to do some cheese and cube cheese and beef sticks and work with your portion, that's a nice way to actually put that and have that ready to go as well. You could also do a little different packaging. You could actually do some full sticks and some cheese. So you could actually a little better look at it. The cube cheeses, you could cube them. You could buy them pre-cubed. A little bit of time, labor, selling price on it. I think this is a nice way to, and this is something that the customer, maybe they're not going to take it home and eat right away, but I know I've been home and close to the refrigerator, and social distancing from the refrigerator is not my specialty. So if this is in the refrigerator, I'm probably into it and snacking on it. So good things to have and extra things to take home. We've also got, of course, we've got our fan favorites. We've got the Iowa State, and we can also do a UNI beef stick as well. So some different things. These are shelf stable. These are refrigerated. So you've got that impulse buy at the cash register as well for some add-on sales too. Okay, let's talk about salads. And salads are popular, health conscious. How do we balance that? A lot of comfort foods being consumed currently out there. We're seeing a lot of meat, a lot of protein, a lot of ground beef. Tater tot casserole has made a surge. But let's talk about a couple different salads. And one salad option I have is we actually did it's a 50-50 blend. I took a avocado, cut it in half, and actually put chicken salad, and then actually put some seafood salad, like a crab salad. So you've got a little bit of a lettuce, you've got a little more of a protein, a little more of a bite to it. And this is where that the person on the phone could say, do do you have a favorite dressing at home you're going to use, or do we need a dressing to add to it? And we can always add dressings, but chances are maybe they have a favorite dressing at home. It saves us another step and something to actually send in another cost item. So avocado cut in half, took the pit out, filled it with a salad, just a little bit of a 50-50 blend and a couple of tomatoes. Once again, this could be a nice oil and vinegar, a nice way to get a little protein into your salad, and a nice way to actually something that you can actually have ready to go. All you got to do is cut the avocado, stuff it, and it's a quick turnaround turn for you. Okay, another salad to kind of think about, and it's a salad noise. This is actually a French salad, and it's kind of an entree salad, but it's a big French salad because you use actually a canned tuna. But this is basically a salad. It has cucumbers, it has some cooked potatoes, a little bit of all-purpose seasoning, tomatoes, chickpeas, like I said, tuna, hard-boiled eggs, some carrot, and some green beans. These are actually just been steamed, heated and cooled. A couple of artichokes on the side, and once again, that dressing could be something you have, or it could be a favorite at home. But it's a nice way to get a little bit of everything into a salad. The other thing I like about this type of salad, and whatever you call it, it's a nice way to use up your leftovers and other ingredients you have in your restaurant. You could have a make table set up and make these and have a different feature of the week or the day. Run them as you need them, but it could be a variety of different proteins on here too as well. If you're not a tuna fan, I get that. A couple other things that you could put on there. You could actually do some grilled chicken. You could do some beef shoulder tenders, or you could actually put on some smoked salmon. And when you talk about price points here, 3 ounces is plenty. That's a 3-ounce chicken breast. That's about 2.5 to 3 salmon, and about 2 ounces of the shoulder tender cubed. So once again, if you want to use your ends of your shoulder tenders for something like this, and then actually grill the holes off for something else, a good utilization of that product and a versatile product out there. So if you're not a tuna fan, use some other ingredients that you have and make that salad fun and exciting, and something they just aren't going to make at home. This is something you can make really easy, but all the ingredients, are you going to take the time? Just something I think is a nice add-on sale to think about for your customers. Okay, the big question, salad bars. What's going to happen to salad bars, and what's going to happen when things get back up and running? Salad bars are near and dear. They're kind of a sought after. They're a little bit dated. The state of Wisconsin still is going strong and vibrant with salad bars. But how about if we take the salad bar and give it to the customer without having all the handling, the setup, the fees, and everything like that? So basically, just took a nice tossed salad, and I actually did a macaroni and pea, and I actually did a coleslaw, a spring salad, a potato salad. This is a number 8 disher, so we've got 4 salads, a little bit of lettuce. You've got a salad bar that you could actually be for one person, or you could actually do it for a couple people. Downside is, I know everybody likes to pick out their own ingredients on a salad bar, but it's a nice option. And however you position it and whatever salads that you choose, I think it's a nice way to offer that variety without having to go through all the setup and all the safety issues that we're dealing with currently. Okay, I'm going to jump back. I actually forgot one item, and I'm going to do that to show you a different item. And this could be an appetizer, but it's a whole dill pickle with cream cheese and then wrapped with dried beef, and that's a B&R sliced dried beef. You can put 3 of these in a tray, mark them up, $1.99. Something else that's a nice appetizer. That could go in one of your salad combinations, or it could be an add-on for a salad as well. But a nice way to actually another appetizer that'll stay in the refrigerator. It'll travel well and pack well and stay nice for that travel for the customer also. I'm just going to cut into one so you can kind of see. We've all seen them. They always are a fan favorite. These and deviled eggs, no matter how many you make, you're always going to run out of them type of thing. So once again, that could go just a half of one in a salad if you'd like, or you could sell 3 to 5 in a kit as well. So let's talk about a couple different packages. And I want to show, this is an item, this is a fiber bottom, and the fiber bottom holds up pretty good, but if you get a lot of liquid in the bottom, it's going to get soggy. and it's going to be hard to transport. Pretty good example, held up better than I thought, but if you take something right out of the broiler or the grill or something out of the steam table, you put in a fiber tray, probably won't hold up as well as you'd like it to. Still a good product, but maybe not the best utilization for a fiber container. A lot of times when we order sandwiches, we get a bun with the protein on it, and it gets home, the bun is very soggy, it's hard to eat. So how about selling a pound of pulled pork in a container, hot, ready to go? And I would encourage you to sauce this because that'll cut your cost down, but this container holds exactly 1 pound of pork, and then you could actually just sell the buns with them on the side. You can do it for 2, you can do it for 4. You know, these together don't operate very successfully, but separately they'll perform a lot better, and it'll be a lot better eating experience. There's not a lot you can do to change that. Once you put the product on the bun, it's going to start to get moist and soggy and deteriorate. But I think when you pack them separately, it's a nice way to actually offer that product out there. Okay, I'm going to jump over here and we're going to talk about soup. And soup's very popular. Soup's a good comfort option out there for us. One of the things I would encourage you to look at when you look at soups, if you're going to do a broth soup, you might want to take it and add a little starch or a roux to it to maybe thicken it. It's going to do 2 things. It's going to transport easier. It's actually going to keep the heat better, and it's not going to be as messy. The soup in the front is actually a vegetable beef barley. The one in the back is I actually thickened it with a starch. So you'll see the viscosity is a lot different. Going to hold up in your containers, a lot messier, easier to portion too when you're actually working with it. In the back is a nice broccoli cheese soup, more of a creamier soup, more of a heavier. The broth soups aren't going to travel as well, and they're not going to hold the heat as well. So if you're going to look at something, you know, more in the soup category, I would look more of your cream, a little more heartier. And doesn't mean that you can't add a little roux or starch or thickening agent to it to make that travel better. So one of the things you've got 2 soups here, 3 soups if you look at it. What about doing a potato bar? Can we send a cup of cream of broccoli? Can we send some chili? Can we send a baked potato? Could we also send a couple sweet potatoes? I mean, could we look at that as well? Baked potatoes, sweet potatoes hold up extremely well. They're going to travel well, and it's a nice way to say, okay, let's give you a 12-ounce container of 2 different soups or 3 of your choice. Throw a baked potato or sweet potato, so you've got a loaded baked potato bar. The other thing I like about this too is you could actually use the potatoes for your meals if you want to actually use it for another application. But hold up extremely well. Steam wells might be a nice way to actually have these plugged in, and you get an order, the customer calls, maybe you dish it up to order, take it out to them so it's hot and ready to go. We want to minimize the amount of travel time to keep it as fresh and as hot as possible. These steam wells would be a nice way to set up and be ready to go. You could do a meat potato, a vegetable, you could do a hot beef. You could basically, you've got your little buffet set up in the back and you're ready to go with hot food options. Baked potatoes, if you wanted to take the sweet potato, open it up, add some brown sugar. You want to do a loaded sweet potato. You want to add some bacon and onions, sour cream and butter on the side, of course. But that would be something we would want to ask them. Do you need butter and sour cream? You might have it at home, chances are, but just another thing to ask and talk about. I'm going to kind of jump around here a little bit and show you a couple other options. And one of the things is burgers. And the hamburger is an emotional item. Whether you wrap it in a film or you put it in a container, if you wrap it in foil. One of the big things is if you put the lettuce and tomato and the onion on that, it's going to be extremely soggy when you get home. A nice thing to actually do is even you can put it in the same container. It's still going to be okay. It's not going to be as good if you put it in a separate container. But of course, a stealth fry. We've got a 2-to-1 burger, cheeseburger with the condiments on it. You know, once again, burgers, everybody has a different way and a different testing and a different way they're going to actually feature and serve those products. But some people wrap them, some people put them in a separate container, some people wrap them in paper and a container. Whatever your goal is or whatever you think is the best way to handle those, personal preference. I actually like the product when it's actually wrapped It actually steams a little bit, melts the cheese, but I don't like the soggy lettuce and tomato on there. If it's just straight cheese, pickles and onions, maybe the ketchup and mustard, maybe the ketchup and mustard is put on the burger versus sending the packets. Just another execution thing. It's a little handling thing, but something that can be handled at the phone when actually that customer's calling in to take that order. Okay, we're talking about a lot of things, and if you're going to order maybe some of the grill packages you're thinking about, we actually have Rancher's Legacy fresh ground beef patties in 2-pound packages, Ziploc, but easy peel, 21-day shelf life. Because if you want to actually get into a grilling package, maybe the burgers and brats and some other things that we're looking at coming down the line, be a nice way to actually be able to sell this to go for the customer to take home and actually put on their own grill. A lot of different options out there for that. One of the a protein of choice, and a lot of times, sometimes we talk about what else can we do for to go. And if we look at the beef shoulder tender, the Terrace Major, the cod tender, probably one of the most universal, versatile pieces of meat out there. Has a little bit more thickness to it, so it can actually get some additional heat and hold for a while. Individual portions, you can actually serve 1 or 2, you can cut them. The other thing I like about putting the potato in here, that acts as a sterno or an insulator, a heating agent. That hot potato is going to keep that product warm and help it make that trip better and stay warm with you in the container. So it's kind of a nice item to add. You can do the sweet potato combination too, but when you get this off the grill into the container, add your potatoes, seal it up, be a nice way to travel. This actually has vents on it, depending upon if you wanted to get a little ventilation. Probably on this type of product, you'd want to not vent it. If it's a breaded product, something breaded, you probably would want to vent it a little bit. But keep in mind, just the baked potato, just to insulate that and add some heat and help that make that trip also. Kind of another grill package item. We actually stock bacon wrapped pork medallions or pork fillets, 6 in a package, come in frozen. You can sell these 6 at a time. Once again, this would be a nice item. Put your sides, put this, thaw it out, have it ready to go for the customer. Another grill package item. These would actually have a little marination to them. If you want to grill these off and actually use them for an entree, would hold very well too. Could be sauce, could be a seasoning of some sort on it as well. But with the bacon on it, nice way to actually feature another item out there that's going to hold and travel well and cook relatively easy. Broiler, flat top, bake them in the oven. Nice item out there for that grab and go, for that, be able to cook your own options too. Okay, another item to think about, and you've all heard of sous-vide. Sous-vide is actually when you take a product and put it in a bag and you put it in a lower temperature of water, kind of like a jacuzzi, if you will. Seals in the moisture, juices, flavor, easy to heat, travels very well. I wanted to show you a product from Purdue, and this is under their Harvest Land. These are chicken quarters. So there's 4 chicken quarters in a bag, come in frozen, boiling water for about 30 minutes, and you've got hot chicken quarters ready to go. So in this environment, you're probably going to be the most successful selling something that's hot and keeping it hot because it's in the natural juices and the moisture. This does have a February date on it, but we did bring it in and freeze it right away. So that's if you see that and want to say, well, why is that close dated? It was actually frozen. So I can feel the bottom of this. My hand is actually pretty warm. This has been in this container for about 30 minutes. Unlike some of the other containers that we've sewn and talked about, they're okay, but this actually has some heat to it. It's generating some heat. So if there's a sous vide item, I know the fire braised items, some of those things, but 4 chicken quarters in your side, nice take-home meal that you've got oven rotisserie chicken, fully cooked, ready to go, and just thaw it, heat it, and you can be out the door in about 30 minutes or less with that product. Four quarters in a case on that. So. Okay, let's talk about one other item down here. And when we look at this, and when we talk about packaging, and let's slow down just a minute, and let's just talk about packaging in general. It's confusing. You want microwave? You want recyclable? Do you want ovenable? Do you want a lid? Do you want a plastic container? Do you want as cheap as you can get? There's a lot of confusion and a lot of options out there in packaging. A couple things when we talk about packaging too is I think I would actually look at a product that's a hinge container, so you only have to buy one item. You know, somebody should say, well, I like that container. Well, what lid fits it? Is the lid microwave? There's too many options. So try to do your homework, work with your salesman, work with the customer, and try to find a packaging options that you're comfortable with and will work the best for multiple applications. Sometimes people say, well, I need a package, and the first thing you do is, oh man, I hate looking that stuff up. But we're coming a long way. We've actually added a lot more information, pictures. We're working on revitalizing some things, making things easier. We understand it's confusing. We're going to try to do our best with it. But I think packaging, it can be successful. It can work. I just think you need to actually look at some options, make sure that it's going to work for you. And once again, don't overthink it, because it can be confusing. Okay, in this package, I did three things. I actually had kind of a family pack. So we actually have, in this package, once again, this has been in here for 30 minutes, and the heat in this is very good. And when I actually did that, I actually came straight from the grill, the saute pan, into the container, sealed it to make sure that's going to make the trip and be as hot as you can. We want this to actually have some nice smells and steams, and we want whoever's taking this or have it in their car, we want them to be like, I'm going to get into that package because it smells good. Those are all good things about to go. So in this package, so here's a nice family pack. So I did three things. We actually did an Aztec blend of rice. Why Aztec blend? Well, we did the rice because it can actually be cooked off, can be sauteed, so we actually get it reheated very well. The other thing I picked to rice for this dish is because we talked about some of the containers where you get moisture loss, and you get moisture loss from product. Well, the moisture loss from this pork tenderloin will actually go into the rice and flavor the rice. So it's going to absorb the rice to keep it from being as messy, and then it's actually going to absorb some of that flavor to actually flavor the rice. So this is the pork tenderloin. Anybody know what ground beef is running right now? I mean, ground beef is expensive. You can buy this protein a lot less than ground beef, and the protein segment is crazy. There's a lot of things going on, but this pound to pound and a quarter piece at $2.75 a pound, very affordable. Can be sliced, can be held in this container for leftovers and used later. The other item I actually put in here is Brussels sprouts. So I actually took the Brussels sprouts and we baked them in the oven, some olive oil, a little bit of salt just to get them warmed up, and then we sauteed them in some hot bacon pepper jam. And because we can't forget bacon today, I mean, there's a lot of things that we do with bacon. We actually added a little bacon to it, so you've got a nice dish that's going to travel wide well. And once again, you can feel the heat on it. I wish we had like a temperature gauge, or we could actually look at that. But nice temperature, 30-35 minutes after hitting the container. That's a pretty good testimony too as well. And the pork tenderloin, because of the diameter, the thickness, will hold its heat well and travel very well. A lot of times when we look at this product, we sell quite a few of them, but it's an underutilized product. At the price, affordability, the flexibility, I think we should take another look at them. These come individually portioned, a little bit of silver skin to come off, but a nice, attractive dish. You know, cost-wise here, you're probably in that $3.50, $3.75 range, but a nice meal for 2 or 3 people, however you want to set that up and sell it. So we're talking about a lot of things. We're talking about more entrees. We're talking about things that are going to work and be more successful. How about vegetables? When we travel with vegetables, or we feature vegetables, you know, cauliflower blends, a lot of your nice blends are not going to hold up very well. You know, green beans are going to travel okay. Certain things are going to travel better than others, but unfortunately in the vegetable category, asparagus is very affordable, and asparagus is not going to stay warm. It's not going to hold very well, and it's not going to make the trip very well. So when we think about this, if we can do a couple things. So if we can take a basic vegetable, okay, get a spoon back. So if we can take a basic vegetable and show you this. So I just took a cream base, soup base, a little chicken base, and added some frozen peas to it. Frozen peas aren't very exciting. As soon as they come out of the microwave, you pop the lid on it, they're cold. But if we actually put these in a cream sauce in a container, they're actually going to hold their heat and actually be flavorful. They're still very green, have some flavor to them. But it's a nice way to actually put a vegetable into a transportation. An insulator is basically what that cream sauce is going to do for you. You could do this with corn. You could do jalapeno corn, cream corn. You could do it with a lot of different things. You know, we talked about green bean casserole. Well, that's got cream and mushroom soup. That's going to hold up really well for you as well. Another option is, and this is another item. This is a baked vegetable item. So on the bottom is California blend vegetables, sliced American cheese, Ritz crackers, and some melted butter. So this is going to allow you to have a product that's not moisture, it's not leaking, it's not deteriorating. It's going to be flavorful. It's going to have the crunch. It's going to have the cheese. If you like more crackers, less crackers, you can make this to your satisfaction. But let's go ahead and I'm going to get a bowl here, and we're just going to scoop some of that out to see how we're doing. Bake this covered and then bake it uncovered, just to get a little more browning to it. But you can actually see you've got that. You've got the melted cheese. You've got the vegetables. A nice way to actually take a vegetable that's going to hold well, heat well, and transport well. Kind of a casserole. If you wanted to add a protein to it, you could add a protein to it. So keep in mind some of your nicer vegetables. That's a nice way to transport those and actually have another way to sell them. Vegetables are hard. We can't fry everything. We can steam so much, but how is it going to be when the customer gets it? That's the biggest thing. And when you get home, you're like, oh, that was okay, or that was great, I want to go back. That's the things that we need to start working with those customers on. And repeat sales. I mean, that's the biggest thing. Let's talk about another little side dish. And remember we did the potatoes and the Niçoise salad? So I actually took a few extra potatoes, put some butter, get a little cold. But you could actually wrap these in foil and actually do like a little campfire potato with them as well. So you've got the potatoes already. Put these in foil. Put them on your broiler. These could have been in there a little bit longer, get a little more heat to them. But that's another thing that you can do. Leave these right in the container. Go into your dish like your baked potato, and you've actually got your sterno, you got your heat, you got a good quality product, and you've got something that travels very well too in that potato category. That's a non-fried item. And once again, on the bottom here, I can actually feel that heat coming through there. So season them up however you like them. Little green onion, red potatoes, parboil the red potatoes, slice them up, and then just go ahead and wrap them in the foil. I'll grab a towel real quick. Okay, let's go down. I'd be amiss to you today if I didn't talk about some protein, and we got a lot of protein going on, and I like to give you some other things to think about. As we're doing this to-go item, and whether you're featuring it as a limited menu, you're taking orders ahead of time, trying to plan your day to make sure you've got enough utilization of product. The other thing I think about is when we talk about these things, what are we going to do with the leftovers? So one of the things that I have up on the first carving station, this is a cap-off center cut top. There's going to be 10 of these in a box. They're about 8 pounds, USDA choice, seasoned, roasted in the oven, and it's ready to go. So let's go ahead and let's cut into this. So we've actually got under a carving station a nice item that we could actually serve entrees. You could serve sandwiches. The leftovers here could go on those salads that we talked about. Could go in the soup for the next day. But a nice way to actually feature a USDA choice top sirloin. I know we do prime rib a lot out there, but you've actually got a nice medium rare that's going to hold the heat well under the heat lamp. It's going to travel well. You could do the entree, or you could do the sandwich, and you could actually sell it the same day, same time. Maybe this is a deal where you actually take a picture and you do your Facebook and you tease your customers and say, I've got this many servings today. You know, show it out there, have one, you're gone, go back to your normal menu. But having a carving station where you can actually have that product hot, ready to go in front of you, and a good outlet for leftovers. Once again, that's the Upper Iowa Center Cut Cap-Off Top Sirloin. Turn it around so you can see it. But very flavorful, very tender, season it up, moisture, great for leftovers too as well. Okay, another item. This is actually a Sara Lee turkey breast, and this is a raw skin-on product, about 5 to 6 pounds. Seasoned it up, roasted it off. But sometimes, you know, when we look at turkey category, we don't have a lot of options. So once again, we could do a hot turkey sandwich, we could do a turkey dinner, we could actually have the leftovers for a lot of different things like we already talked about. Very moist, very flavorful. You know, if a person wanted to actually take a little thicker steak, a little thicker cut of this, put it on the charbroiler, put some marks on it, and do a grilled turkey steak with it, you certainly could as well. But once again, it's a way to portion. You could sell this by pound, per ounce, per sandwich, for dinner. Another item that's going to hold extremely well, and the leftovers will be very good and to use in a variety of different ways in casseroles, salads, those type of applications too. So one of the things that when you do something like this, you kind of get a little bit nervous, like, well, how much are you going to go through? How's it going to work? How's it going to hold? What am I going to do with the leftovers? But with items like this, I think you'll be able to be successful. And, you know, a carving station is a great showcase. That's why we do it. But it's a nice way to hold product. Maybe you put it in the sham, you put it under the heat lamp. You can work with it back and forth. A nice way to actually serve some different product. And at some point in time, we're gonna want something different. We're gonna want a little bit different. We're hearing people going out once a week, and we're doing it to go, but they're gonna maybe want something different. So these are some things to think about on the sirloin and the actual turkey. Let's talk about one other thing. You can stay there, Bill. I'm gonna grab. Talk a little bit about a couple things and then add-on sales. But if you're not familiar with this, this is a product called Dutchland Classic. This is made up in Leicester, Iowa. But these are Queen Almonds. These are actually an item that you could say, would you like a Queen Autumn? I just pulled them out of the oven. They're hot, they're fresh, ready to go. These are something that can be done in a muffin tin, take about 20 minutes in the oven. You need to proof them, but they do travel well and hold up very well. It's kind of a sweet, buttery croissant type item, but this would be something that you could sell individual. Maybe when you want to get some of those salads and features going, you could do those on an add-on sale. You know, but another item, not just a typical dinner roll, but something, you know, the craze right now is everybody is buying flour and baking and falling in love with cooking. So I think if we challenge them with some different ideas and some unique things, might be a benefit to them as well. A couple things, desserts, and I'm going to actually just show you a couple of desserts here. Just show you one. Just want to show you the plain. This is actually an apple strudel. And this is by a company called Prop and Peller. About $1.65. And this is an item, thaw and serve. Doesn't need to be heated if the customer wants to take it home and heat it. Powdered sugar, whipped cream, about 2 to 3 days at a shelf stable, so you've actually got some shelf life on it. It would be a nice different one, you know, topping on this. If you want to do a powdered sugar, caramel, whipped cream, those type of things. But this would be a nice item to actually feature a dessert. Desserts are kind of tough, but cake travels well, brownies, cookies, those type of things travel very well. Chocolate pudding, wafers, whipped cream, Some of those comfort things would actually travel very well in a container as well. So desserts, kind of a nice option too as well. It's a nice add-on. We're seeing people want those extra desserts, and they want that little bit of sugar that they're looking for out there too. I'm going to talk about a couple things here. And we talk about containers, and we talk about a lot of different things. This is a new container called Clover. This is actually from Genvac. So this is a microwave, resealable, dishwasher safe, recyclable. These are 2 containers that'll be in the first part of May. So as we're looking at our current business, and we're trying to think, some things are in short supply, some things are hard to come by. But this is a nice clear container that will be a nice kind of all-purpose. And once again, I would encourage you to look for a hinge container, or look for a container that has a container plus a lid on it. The last thing I want you to do is fill up your storeroom full of big boxes and things that you don't use, and you know, be a hassle for you. So it's nice having the hinge container. Different sizes are available. But this is a new item that we're going to actually have in first part of May, and this is the Clover line from Genvac. A couple things to talk about, and how about some upsell? How do we upsell? Well, what do we can do for an upsell? You know, we've got Madame Mary's Bloody Mary mix. We've got hot bacon pepper jam. We've actually got the dill habanero beef sticks, which would be a nice thing to add on for the Bloody Mary. There's a lot of different things from Fortune. The Mike's Hot Honey. This is a nice option for. It'd be nice on the sweet potatoes. It'd be nice on pizza as well. But some things to think about when we talk about add-on sales. You know, today we're featuring this for, would you like a Bloody Mary? Would you like the pickles? Would you like the sticks? Would you like some lemons, a horseradish? Whatever you want to do for your Bloody Mary, you could actually put together that kit and be able to sell that to your customer. Okay, let's talk about just kind of winding down, and when we talk about, let's get to the packaging. And when you've got the packaging picked out, you've got the food in it, and you're getting it ready to go, what happens? Okay, well, we want to try to send cold product with cold. We want to send hot product with hot product. And we've all seen the famous little white bags that are out there. We get them all the time, and they actually put a fancy tie on them when we send them. They slide around. They don't hold heat real well. What do you do with these when you get home? People love them, hate them. Some people use them for their pets, those type of things. But this is typical industry standard when we actually see the bags out there. And when you look at the bag, you're like, okay, it's a bag. You know, it's not a big deal. Well, doing a little more investigation and a couple of things that we're coming out with and thinking about. And we actually have some new bags. And we're going to be stocking 2 sizes. We're going to be stocking this size bag and a larger size. And these are tamper-proof. So you've got a paper bag with a handle. And when you think about this, for about 40 cents, you can actually finish the to-go setting. You got a flat bottom. Things are going to store in there as well. You actually have a tamper-proof. So you can actually come in here and actually take the tape off and have this, so you can actually seal it up and have it ready to go. If you're going to take it, or the customer's going to take it, or if you just want to make sure that it stays hot, you've got that flexibility. If you're using an outside carrier for your product, I think this would actually be a nice thing to think about. Sorry about that. So once again, we got just one more little strip here to take off. Maybe. These are going to be 250 count in a case. As we look at this, there we go. So you can actually seal the bag, have a nice handle on it. So that's a way to finish it. I mean, if you look at this, you got no insulation value here. You've got some insulation value. This is going to sit in the back of your car, slide around. The flat bottom here is actually going to be sturdy. It can hold. It can ride better. Granted, this, there's a price thing to think about here, but I think it's definitely something to think about. Having the handle, having the packaging, having the sealability to it as well is a nice thing. Um, so this is actually the medium size. This is the small size. There's one other larger size, but we're going to be stocking the medium size, the large. This is a dot virtual, so you can get it fairly quickly if that's a bag that you like to have. Brown bags have been hard to come by, so that's another thing that's been kind of an obstacle out there too as well. Someday, maybe things will get back to normal. We've actually got some nice bags that are actually have the insulation in it. You could actually put a little holder to put a bottle of wine in it. This could be if we get to the point where everybody's comfortable and you could actually have a customer bring this back. You could fill this bag and send it with them. These are nice grocery store bags, but right now with the safety and the things we're going on, probably need to hold off on that. But I think the paper bags are a nice option to start with, to work with versus the plastic. Down the line, think about this. So today we're actually going to be sending out some more information. Angie in the marketing's got several pieces that we're going to send out to you as far as some of the containers that we sent today, some tips, some handling, some things to think about when you're going to be to that point of reopening. And today I want to thank everybody for their time. Today it's been fun to get out, it's fun to cook, make a mess, do some dishes, not stay home, do those type of things, but not that we don't need to stay home and be safe, but it's been fun to actually interact. Once again, today, the packaging, pick your packaging. Pick your product that's going to go in the packaging. Pick your containers. Pick your product that's going to travel the best. Have some fun with it. Give it some uniqueness. Finish it out. Don't do just one thing and just the other thing don't do. Go all the way through the process. Nice bags, nice packaging, nice containers. I mean, try to have some thought to it. And at the end of the day, if it's the 9x9 hinge foam that's going to be your go-to thing, that's fine too. But just some different things to think about. Once again, on behalf of everybody here today, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate everybody's time and attention, and thank you.